Welcome back to our channel, everyone. Today is a fantastic, absolutely frenzied day for fans of Beyond the Gates. And honestly, my mind is racing with all the new developments for May 18th. Wow, pay attention. It sounds like Bill is smarter this week. It seems Bill has been convinced by Thomas and is paying attention to his wife. Also, Samantha is preparing for the cotillion ball while still grappling with doubts about whether she belongs there. The investigation into the plasma ring is becoming increasingly dangerous as Jacob, Ashley, and Derek face mounting pressure. Please like and subscribe to stay updated on our channel and the latest news. The sweetness and happiness that had enveloped Bill and Haley's opulent home for so long were finally beginning to crack under the crushing weight of unspoken truths. Okay, I've been thinking about this and, well, basically, Bill and Haley have been married for over a year now, right? And I just cannot fathom how we got to this point without him asking the real, hard-hitting questions. I mean, think about it. Over a year of waking up next to someone, sharing meals, sharing a life, and you don't know their actual past? Actually, no. I should have mentioned that earlier. Bill probably knows the surface-level stuff, the fabricated timeline, the little lies she fed him to keep him docile and happy. But what's been bothering me is the sheer scale of his blindness. He is living with a woman whose entire existence is wrapped in dark secrets, intense psychological manipulation, and literal murder plots, and he doesn't even know it. Or maybe he does on some subconscious level. I mean, not exactly, but something like that. It's like he's been under a spell. But now, finally, the spoilers say he's starting to ask questions about her past. Strange, really strange. The whole thing is strange, because why now? What is the specific trigger on May 18th that makes him suddenly wake up from his coma of ignorance? Wait, let me say that again. It's not just ignorance. It's weaponized gaslighting on Haley's part. We have watched her expertly navigate every single conversation, pivoting away from her history whenever it gets too close to the bone. You sit there watching the screen and you just want to scream at Bill, like, open your eyes. The internal conflict here isn't just Haley trying to hide. It's Bill's deep-seated fear of what he might find. I think he's avoided asking because he knows, deep down in his gut, that the answers will destroy his reality. But this upcoming episode, it feels like the dam is breaking. He's going to probe into her past, and I am terrified for him. Curiosity killed the cat, right? Will curiosity kill Bill? The spoiler literally asks that, and it makes my stomach drop. Because Haley is backed into a corner now. A cornered animal is the most dangerous kind, and Haley has proven she will do whatever it takes to survive. And we have to talk about the Lynette connection. Maybe it doesn't matter, but I notice that whenever Lynette is even tangentially involved, Haley's micro-expressions change. It's subtle, like a twitch of the eye or a tightening of the jaw. Bill has to, he absolutely must start feeling uneasy about how Haley and Lynette intersect. If this conversation about her past doesn't lead him straight down the Lynette rabbit hole, I am going to lose my mind. Actually, wait, what if Haley uses the Lynette situation as a smokescreen? Like, she feeds him a half-truth about Lynette to cover up the darker, more sinister murder plots. That would be a classic Haley move. It's a secret war happening right in their living room, disguised as a casual marital chat. The tension is going to be suffocating. I can already feel the dramatic atmosphere. It's going to be thick enough to cut with a knife. Meanwhile, a different kind of psychological warfare was tearing apart the opulent, chandelier-lit halls of the upper class as the highly anticipated cotillion ball approached. The Dupree family was immersed in the hurried, lavish preparations for the momentous event, but beneath the surface of silk and diamonds lay a brutal emotional battlefield. Samantha stood at the epicenter of this storm, suffocating under the crushing weight of her severe imposter syndrome threatening to consume her completely. The cotillion ball was supposed to be a triumphant debut, a glorious night of celebration, but for Samantha, it had turned into a terrifying trial. The venomous whispers of the Belleclaire family had infiltrated her mind like a slow-acting poison. Their cruel, calculated reminders that she was merely an adopted child, not of the sacred Dupree bloodline, had systematically destroyed her self-esteem. She was consumed by a deep, painful internal conflict, torn between a burning desire to belong and the terrifying belief that she was nothing more than a con artist flaunting herself in a borrowed dress. Anyway, the main point is, wait, what's the main point? Oh right, the sheer amount of deception. But speaking of deception and pretending to be something you're not, let's pivot to Samantha. The cotillion is finally here. We've been hearing about this platinum Deb nonsense for weeks, and on Monday, the Dupree family is supposedly rallying around Samantha to get her ready. But here's the thing that absolutely breaks my heart and simultaneously infuriates me: Samantha's imposter syndrome. It is so severe, and it's entirely manufactured by outside forces. Specifically, the Belleclaire family. The Belleclaires are basically psychological terrorists in ball gowns. They looked this poor girl in the eye and told her she doesn't belong because she's adopted. Because she doesn't share Dupree blood. I mean, how incredibly vile can you get? Okay, wait a minute. Let me analyze the Belleclaire's motivation here. Why target Samantha? Is it just classic elitism? Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they see her as a genuine threat to their own status at the cotillion. If Samantha wins Platinum Deb, it completely invalidates their archaic, bloodline-obsessed hierarchy. Samantha's internal conflict is so palpable. You can see her constantly second-guessing her every move, wondering if her dress is right, if her posture is right, if her very existence in that room is an insult to the tradition of the event. The Dupree family is trying to help her, sure. But can they actually shield her from the psychic damage the Belleclaires are inflicting? Blood doesn't make family, but in the hypertoxic world of the cotillion, blood is currency. Samantha is walking into a battlefield wearing a ball gown, and her biggest enemy is her own self-doubt. I really want her to pull herself together. Not for the title, but to shove it in the Belleclaire's faces. But that doesn't explain why the title of Platinum Deb is so heavily emphasized this year. There has to be an ulterior motive or some hidden prize or leverage associated with it. Maybe it doesn't matter, but I noticed that the camera lingers on the cotillion preparations a little too long, like there's something hidden in the background. Is someone going to sabotage her dress? Will there be a public humiliation? I'm jumping between ideas here. But my brain is just screaming that this cotillion is going to end in absolute disaster. Samantha needs to unleash her inner strength, but the environment is practically designed to crush her. What am I saying? Oh right, disasters. Speaking of absolute disasters, we desperately need to talk about the plasma ring. This storyline has escalated from a weird, shady side hustle into a full-blown life-or-death crisis. Jacob and Smitty are in way over their heads. Monday kicks off a massive week for this investigation, and I am officially terrified for Jacob. Jacob is going to meet with Ren. Let that sink in. Ren. The same Ren who literally stabbed Grayson just to send a message. That is not a man you just casually meet for coffee to discuss business discrepancies. Ren is a weapon. Actually, no. I should have mentioned that earlier. Jacob has been trying to improvise. He's been trying to play the game, bend the rules, and manipulate the situation to his advantage. But Ren hates that. Ren operates on strict, brutal orders. When Jacob meets Ren, the power dynamic is going to be incredibly skewed. Jacob thinks he's smart, and he is, but he's playing chess with a guy who just flips the board and stabs the opponent. What does Ren want from him? Is he going to force Jacob to take the fall for the plasma ring? Or is he going to use Jacob to get to someone else? The mystery here is suffocating. Jacob's internal panic must be at an all-time high, even if he's trying to play it cool on the outside. And while Jacob is dealing with a literal psychopath, Ashley is having a complete and utter meltdown. And honestly valid, Ashley's situation is the textbook definition of toxic attachment. She is completely panicked because Grayson is preparing for the worst. Grayson knows the walls are closing in. But let's look at Ashley's personal baseline here. She knows Grayson is shady. She knows he lied to her. She knows that just standing next to him puts a massive target on her back. Yet, she stays. Why? It's this messy, irrational, deeply frustrating love she has for him. I know I just said the opposite about her being smart, but listen to me. Love makes people do incredibly stupid things. Her internal conflict is arguably the most tragic right now. She's fighting her own survival instincts. Every alarm bell in her head is ringing, telling her to run, to pack a bag and leave town before Ren or the police or whoever else comes knocking. But her heart anchors her to a sinking ship. Grayson is preparing for the worst, which means he probably expects to go to prison, or worse, end up in a body bag. Ashley's panic is going to make her erratic. I am predicting right now that her fear will push her or Grayson to make a catastrophic mistake. When you operate out of pure panic, logic goes out the window. Will she try to strike a deal behind Grayson's back to save him? Will she accidentally expose them both? The suspense is literally killing me. But wait, we haven't even touched on the absolute puppet master of this entire plasma ring nightmare, Laia. Oh my god, Laia, the head of Garland Memorial Hospital. When this was revealed, my jaw actually dropped. A hospital administrator running an illegal plasma trafficking ring. It's brilliant, it's evil, and it's so perfectly integrated into the setting. Laia is the one pulling the strings. She ordered Grayson, she ordered Ren, she is the boss. And now she has Derek backed into a corner. Okay, let's trace the logic here. Laia wants Grayson at Leslie's free clinic. Why? Obviously, a free clinic is the perfect front for harvesting plasma from vulnerable populations who won't ask questions. It's incredibly dark, but Derek is hesitating. Derek isn't stupid. He senses that Grayson is radiating bad news. He doesn't know the full extent of the plasma ring, but his gut is telling him to keep Grayson away from the clinic and Laia. Laia does not tolerate hesitation. The spoiler says Laia is going to confront Derek, and this is where the secret war becomes a direct, face-to-face conflict. I can just picture the scene. Laia, with her cold, clinical demeanor, cornering Derek in some sterile hospital hallway. She's going to use her authority, her institutional power, to crush his resistance. How will she frame it? Will she threaten his job? Or will she manipulate him emotionally, claiming it's for the greater good of the hospital's funding? Derek's internal struggle is going to be fascinating. He's a man of medicine, a man of ethics, suddenly caught in the crosshairs of a ruthless criminal enterprise run by his own boss. He's trying to protect the clinic, but if he pushes back too hard, Laia might just send Ren to send him a message. Strange, really strange. The whole thing is strange. How quickly a place of healing turned into a den of vipers. Wait, hold on a minute. Let me jump back to Bill for a second because my brain just made a connection. What if Bill's sudden curiosity isn't just organic? What if someone planted a seed? Like maybe he overheard a phone call between Haley and Lynette. We know Haley is meticulous, but nobody is perfect all the time. If Bill found a burner phone or a weird bank statement, that would explain the sudden interrogation. Because up until now, his passivity was almost pathological. He just accepted whatever reality Haley painted for him. It's like Stockholm Syndrome, but he doesn't even know he's a hostage. His house is his prison. And if he starts pulling at this thread, the entire sweater is going to unravel. I can imagine him sitting in his study, staring at some seemingly innocuous piece of paper, and the realization slowly washing over him. The anger, the betrayal, it's going to be a volcanic eruption. And actually, circling back to the Bellic layers, I really need to emphasize how insidious their psychological warfare is. Telling an adopted child they aren't real family is a specific type of cruelty that targets the very foundation of a person's identity. Samantha is a teenager. She is already trying to figure out who she is in the world. And now she has these wealthy, influential adults actively trying to destroy her self-worth. The Dupree family needs to do more than just help her pick out a dress. They need to wage war against the Belleclairs. They need to publicly validate Samantha. If they just quietly support her behind closed doors, it's not enough. The conflict needs to be public. The cotillion floor needs to be the arena where the Duprees finally draw a line in the sand. I mean, not exactly a physical fight, but a social annihilation of the Belleclairs. That would be cinematic perfection. What am I saying? Oh right, back to the plasma ring. We barely talked about Smitty. Smitty is right there alongside Jacob, but Smitty always feels like the wild card who might just crack under pressure. If Jacob is trying to outsmart Ren, Smitty is probably sweating bullets in the corner. Their dynamic is going to be tested. When you are staring down a man who uses a knife to communicate, loyalty becomes a very fragile concept. Will Smitty betray Jacob to save his own skin? Or maybe not. I don't know. But the pressure cooker environment Laya has created is designed to make these lower-level guys turn on each other. It's a classic mob tactic. Keep the underlings terrified of each other so they never look up at the boss. Anyway, the main point is, everything is interconnected by this theme of hidden rot. The rot in Haley's past, the rot in the high society of the cotillion, the literal rot in the hospital's administration. It's all coming to the surface. I'm just trying to process all these ideas in real time, and it's overwhelming. You watch it, you analyze it, and you make predictions based on your own thoughts, but the writers always seem to find a way to twist the knife deeper. I am so emotionally invested in Ashley getting away from Grayson, but I know she won't. I am so invested in Samantha winning, but I fear the emotional cost. And Bill, poor clueless Bill. May 18th is going to change everything. Okay, I think my brain is finally out of ideas. Wait, no, what if Laya is somehow connected to Haley's past? Okay, no, that's crazy. Or is it? I don't know anymore. I just need to see how this all explodes.